now, hello, welcome to Virus and Trend for today. It's a Thursday, a beautiful Thursday, very calm and cool in the capital city, Abuja. And what's trending across social media is what I'm here to tell you. I mean, across your timeline this morning, you'll find these stories, especially if you live in the Federal Capital Territory. Now, what happens when you have legal documents of your property, but a demolition notice suddenly puts your home at risk? Well, that seems to be the situation confronting some residents in the nation's capital, Abuja. The recent flooding in the FCT prompted the FCT minister, Nyesom Wike, to order the demolition of structures on waterways. Now, the FCT administration are on full gear to enforce the Abuja master plan, prevent flooding and clear the way for infrastructure, commence demolition of structures in areas including the Kasana area of Gwarimpa and surrounding areas. Meanwhile, affected residents say only a 72-hour ultimatum was handed to them before bulldozers started rolling in. Let's take a look. And now, with the Senate stepping in to investigate, questions have been raised about due process, compensation, and the protection of property rights. And this has caused a lot of backlash and comments as regards to the time frame given to them. There are some who say it was 72-hour ultimatum. Some say they were written and given a 21 days. But now, before the 21 days elapse, here is the bulldozer to bring down the building. But then there are a lot of comments on social media. Let's take a look at some of which caught our attention. At Youth in Progress commented, demolition wastes resources on both sides. The citizens who invested to build and the government that deploys tractors, workers with taxpayers' funds to tear it down. A better approach is prevention, strengthening policies and public awareness so such structures never arise. That way, citizens save their money, government save resources, and the nation gains. That is the thoughts and comments of Youth in Progress on X. Another comment that caught attention at Benue Mayor 1. It says, buying properties in Nigeria is increasingly becoming scary. You shouldn't be scared, just do the right thing. At Denike Olori also commented, it's really sad. Worst part is there will be no justice. No one will be held accountable for this. Let the Lord do his work, but you got your legal papers, then there's a legal way to address all of this. But that's one story that's trending across residents in Abuja currently. But then, still talking lands and properties, infrastructure projects are meant to build the nation up, right? But when they roll up through established communities, the human cost can be very devastating. A fresh video from Okunwaja is putting the spotlight on the human cost of major coastal development in Lagos State. Residents claim more than 2,000 homes, including ancestral properties and Bale's Palace, have been lost to sand filling associated with the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway and surrounding developments. Let's take a look at this video.
Fortunate it is to be a Nigerian and to live in Nigeria, because explain to me how you wake up on a random day and you decide to expand the road when you literally have a whole list of other things that you're supposed to be worried about. How lost does your priority have to be for you to expand a road that people barely pass? Like, what are you doing? You came here, you gave a 21 days notice of people to back up, and in less than 5 days you were standing outside and screaming and telling them.
And that is the situation in Abuja and even affecting residents in Lagos. Now, affected residents and stakeholders are speaking out against what they view as a deeply flawed and damaging project. But beyond the outrage is a bigger question. How much should communities have to sacrifice for infrastructure development? And are affected residents being adequately protected or compensated? But here are some of the comments that caught attention. Let's take a look now quickly. At James Elijah commented on X, the coastal highway leads to their prized private development, the Eco-Atlantic. That's all it was about. Improving the value of the private investment bought by their control and criminal misapplication of public resources. That is a claim by one user on X. And then another one says, The coastal highway isn't a bad idea, but my reservation are, why the hurry? I believe a proper and conclusive design was not done for the project. If a proper ERA had been done with a detailed design, we wouldn't be experiencing this while the minister is arguing this out. Well, these are comments as regards to road infrastructure. But could this be a case of reincarnation or what? From one generation to the next, Kira, daughter of late Nollywood icon Taiwo Hassan, popularly known as Ogogo, has welcomed a baby boy. This has caused this story to trend. Not just a birth of a new baby, but the timing is what a lot of people are questioning. The new mom shared a heartfelt appreciation message from the hospital bed, thanking everyone who celebrated her beautiful moment. Now, many are calling this baby Kira Ogogo Jr. And many are saying, what a time. Just when the grandfather left, he is back. And some even say the child should be called Baba Tunde because it feels like Baba is back again. But congratulations to the mom and to baby Kira. As Kira celebrates this beautiful new chapter, social media users have also been sharing their reaction. We'll take a look at that moment quickly and also some comments that have been really in as regards the birth of this child.
I swear, they've been saying congratulations since. Say hello to them. Look at me.
God bless you.
Say thank you, guys. Yeah, say something.
Thank you, guys. Sexy praise. Thank you for your prayer.
And that is the daughter of the late Nollywood veteran Taiwo, also known as Ogogo, who barely just left a couple days ago, and just days after, a new baby is being born. This is why so many people are talking. Netizens got words for days on social media. At Emmanuel Benjamin commented on X, if you believe in reincarnation, you would understand what the birth of this baby means. Congratulations, dear Kira. That's one comment. Atajibade Samson also commented, congratulations. One of my favorite actors is back as a newborn baby. May God bless him, keep him, and make his face to shine upon him. Amen. And Saroti also commented, after losing Ogogo, welcoming a baby boy at this moment feels like a painful goodbye meeting a beautiful new beginning. May the little boy grow to carry his grandfather's legacy with pride. I mean, that comment caught our attention. Congratulations to the family of Ogogo. I mean, it's quite a very sensitive one. On one hand, you're mourning the death of your father. On the other hand, you're happy that you have a newborn baby. Kind of a mixed feeling right there. But new and deeply disturbing footage from the China-Nepal border captures the scale of destruction along the border after devastating flash floods swept through communities with hundreds reportedly missing and fears mounting over the death toll. Homes and roads have been inundated while rescue efforts are reportedly underway for people still missing. Let's take a look at that clip. Quite a devastating moment right there, and we join our prayers for the people in Nepal, of course, at this moment. Let's take a look at some of the comments that we caught on social media. At Mikai says, never in my life have I imagined such absolute devastation. It's heartbreaking for the families of those who were just killed in this horrific incident. At OG12 also commented, absolutely heartbreaking scenes. The scale of this disaster is devastating, with so many people still missing. praying for the victims, their families, and everyone caught in the floods. From all of us right here in Virus and Trends, we do hope that more people will be found, and our hearts are with you this very sensitive times. But that's where we wrap up Viral and Trends with Marian Delacroix. Until next time, remember, not every news you see on social media is true. So do well not to share fake news. But for you to get real and authentic news, then keep it right here on Real Broadcasting Network. But easy breezy, visit our website, www.realmediang.com. Up next is our second commentary this morning. The federal government says that released more than 600 billion naira in cash transfer and reached about 10 million households across Nigeria. You find out more right after this break.
Yes, indeed. The federal government says it has released more than 600 billion naira in cash transfers and reached about 10 million households across Nigeria. 600 billion, that's not a small figure. 10 million households, not a small figure either. And when you put those two numbers together, you would expect to see a significant difference in the lives of ordinary Nigerians. But the question we need to ask this morning is simple. Where is that difference that we're supposed to see? And I think that is where the conversation becomes important. Every year, Nigerians hear announcements about billions of naira being allocated to fight poverty, billions for social intervention, billions for vulnerable Nigerians, billions for empowerment programs, billions for feeding programs, billions for cash transfers. The numbers keep coming. It's billions upon billions. But if you speak to the ordinary Nigerian on the street, many of them are still asking the same question. How do I feed my family? How do I pay my children's school fees? How do I pay rent? How do I get to work? How do I afford health care? These are the questions that ordinary Nigerians are asking.
I mean, the very basic is, how do I get food on my table?
So what happens to all the billions that are being disbursed?
I mean, I heard you reel out all the billions in infrastructure, billions in program, billions in health, Billy. It reminds me of Billy. But what do the Nigerian people get from all of these billions that the federal government say it has allocated to different programs now? Is what the Nigerian person is asking. How do I get food on my table to even start with? The road leading to my house is still very much bad. Somebody has to park their cars in another compound for them to get home. And you say there's billions of naira. And that is why I don't think we should simply be impressed by the size of the figures. 600 billion naira sounds enormous when you hear it announced. But what does it mean for the woman in a market who is struggling to sell enough goods to feed her children? What does it mean for the father who is deciding which bill to pay this month? What does it mean for the young person who has been looking for work for years, looking for employment for years now? Those are the people these programs are supposed to reach. But are they getting it?
And in fact, we have to also make it clear that there's nothing wrong with government providing cash transfers. In fact, if a family is struggling to survive, a cash transfer can make an immediate difference. It can put food on the table. It can help pay someone's school fees. It can deal with an emergency. But we have to ask what happens after that money is spent. Does the family have another source of income? In fact, has their situation economically improved, or are they now in a position to survive without another government intervention? Reaching people is not the same thing as lifting people out of poverty, and that, we understand is supposed to be the focus or the focal point of some of these interventions. We'll have to make that distinction. If you say 10 million households have been reached, that's okay. But how many of those households are actually better off today than they were before they received the money? How many have increased their income? How many have moved above the poverty line? How many have become less vulnerable? Those are the statistics that would really tell us whether the intervention is working or not. And I mean, when you're talking all of these numbers.
Where's the data?
Exactly.
Where's the data to back it up? That's the part that's quite difficult. We are very good at announcing what has been approved. We are good at announcing this money has been disbursed for this, for that. But where's the data to back it up to say this money's actually got to the right people that it was meant to and meant for? But implementation is when Nigerians need to see evidence. Because between what is approved on paper and what actually reaches the citizens, sometimes can be very different, 0 to 100. And Nigerians know this experience very well. We've seen budgets where billions are allocated for programs that are supposed to improve people's lives. We hear the figures. We've seen programs headed by people to alleviate poverty, and at the end of the day, it put more people even in poverty. So we hear launches, we hear promises, but when you go back to those same communities and the problems are still there, the same poor road, the same lack of water, the same lack of healthcare. You hear a donation of we're donating billions for healthcare for this particular region. But when you go back there to match the announcement and reality, you find out that it's quite the opposite. On one hand, you see the announcement of the billions be allocated for the healthcare project. On the other hand, in reality, the healthcare project is even worse off than what it was. I mean, we saw the other day where a lawmaker who donated some of these items went back as a follow-up. I couldn't even find one item of what was donated to the healthcare. So where is the data to show that it gets to the people? And where is the follow-up, the proof to also show to the Nigerian people that, yes, we said we were getting this across to the people, and it did go to the people.
So, like you said, we see donations happen, but donation is not implementation. Approving money is not implementation. Releasing money is not necessarily implementation. Announcing beneficiaries that 10 million people have benefited, that is not implementation.
Where are the 10 million people?
The real implementation, Marian, is when the intended beneficiary actually receives the support and there's a measurable improvement in that person's circumstances. Then we can say that, yes, indeed, whatever that you said before has now been implemented. If we're serious about poverty reduction, we have to follow the citizen, not just follow the money. We should be able to take a household that was receiving assistance and track what happened to the household over time. Because even for some of these cash transfers, it's supposed to last for a certain period of time. Did the intervention help them become economically stable? Did it create an opportunity? Did it help them start something that can generate income? Or did the money simply disappear into the rising cost of living?
So when you say you've now released 600 billion naira in cash transfers to reach about 10 million households across Nigeria, what was the selection process of these 10 million households? From what region are they coming from? Is it cut across all regions? And what was your selection to determine that this family from family A, family B, family C are going to benefit from it? And where are the people who are benefiting from this 600 billion naira in cash transfer, and how much is being given to each household of this 600 billion? Is it 10,000 naira? Is it 6,000 naira? Is it 100,000 naira? Is it 50,000 naira? We need to see the people to be able to match what you say in your announcement and the reality of the Nigerian people. We'll keep tabs on it, but you can also let us know if you're one of the families who benefited from this 600 billion naira. It would be good. I'm very glad to hear from you and how you were selected to be amongst these people that should benefit, the 10 million people that should benefit, the 10 million household that should benefit from this 600 billion naira. But we'll keep it right here.